So, welcome to today's live on mindfulness in leadership. So, today's focus will be in understanding and how to maintain focus during some monotonous tasks. Monotonous tasks is another way of saying boring, repetitive things we have to do in the workplace, which takes up time, not too much productive. It could be something along the lines of weekly reporting, data entry, repetitive administrative, and it can lead to a lot of loss of focus. It can lead to a lot of decreased productivity, but these are all contributing to something called mental fatigue. So these tasks often feel uninspiring to us and make it difficult for us to maintain attention, right? So results in errors, delays, and we'd rather spend on something which is novel, and that is kind of our inclination is towards finding the new within us. So maintaining focus during monotonous tasks is crucial though, because it ensures efficiency, accuracy, and sustained performance of your job as well as the company's goals. So when focus wanes, quality of work start to decline, leading to mistakes and extended time spent on the task. So understanding how to keep your mind engaged during these convoluted, repetitive activities is essential for both productivity and mental well-being. So monotonous tasks can lead to a state of what is known as cognitive fatigue, where the brain becomes tired of processing similar information repeatedly without variation or external stimulation. So this impacts our prefrontal cortex, which is the area in front of our brain, which is responsible for executive functions like decision making, problem solving, and sustaining attention. So it is very important to understand, and what do we do about these monotonous tasks, which often gets declined, or we push it back. So how to work with the scenario? So the scenario to maintain focus during these monotonous tasks. So we can utilize a variety of techniques, from habit formation to mindfulness, positive reinforcements, time management frameworks, and even a little bit of brain stimulation methods. So in this session, we will look at around five techniques, and we will finish off with a little bit of meditation as well, just to together. So we will discuss 5 techniques which can be helpful in doing repetitive, boring, sometimes taxing, and important, because these things need to get done, otherwise the productivity fails. So first things is, it's called gamification. So we might have heard of this. Gamification involves turning tasks into game-like experience by incorporating elements like point scoring, rewards, or challenges. So this is one of the easiest way to get going on repetitive, boring tasks. This technique kind of taps into the brain's reward system, making these tasks more engaging by adding a layer of fun or competition. It kind of increases the dopamine levels which are associated with motivation and pleasure, and also thereby increasing how this makes us feel. So how do we do it? So we set challenges for ourselves. So create small challenges or goals, like completing 100 entries within 30 minutes and reward yourself for this small but yet achievable goal. And the other way is to use apps. So there are many apps like Habitica and Forest, which can help you experience even Insight Timer to a certain extent. You can use it as we'll discuss later in another technique. But you can use it as a timer, you can use it to listen to soothing music, etc. So using these apps can be really helpful to gamify and kind of really get into the nitty-gritties of these tasks without being completely fatigued. So for a lengthy report, for example, break it down into sections, assign points for completing each section within a set time frame, if that is possible, and track your progress and reward yourself. Very important to reward yourself with a treat or break once you've reached the target. Often the tendency is once we finish a certain task is to just go straight into the next one. This can often more fatigue than taking a break and re-engaging with the work you need to do. So that is the first technique in terms of gamifying your environment so that these repetitive monotonous tasks become easier to handle. So the next technique which I would like to mention is something which is new. I think the use of sensory stimulation, especially with binaural beats. Now, beats are a form of sound wave therapy that uses specific frequencies to influence brain activity, because brain waves are classified in different levels. And when you listen to binaural beats, your brain waves start to synchronize with the beat frequency, which can promote states of focus, relaxation, or creativity. So, listening to binaural beats in the alpha or beta range, which is 8 to 14 hertz, can enhance concentration and reduce perceived monotony of tasks. So this technique engages the auditory system and helps maintain an optimal brain state for focus. So we will listen to some binaural beats and just maybe for a few minutes here, just to see what it means to be listening to binaural beats. So just close your eyes and simply be present for this. See what comes up. and see how that felt. Maybe you can try it for yourself, just trying a little bit of binaural beats in the alpha or beta range can help enhance concentration and reduce perceived monotony of tasks. So this technique is very important. This is new, as well as there is a lot of research being done on this and how effective it is, and some of the effectiveness is coming back to help people realize that binaural beats can help in different situations. So this actually is a technique which we can use in our practices. So how do we do it? So choose some focus beats. Find a playlist or app that offers this, or if you simply just go into Insight Timer, you will find a lot of binaural beats and you can check it out. And I would encourage using headphones so that you get the real effect. And adjust always the comfort level of your listening. So while working on some repetitive tasks like spreadsheet management, play binaural beats track in the background. This can help you stay focused. And also have to say that it might not work for all of us, because a lot of these things are just so that we have many options. So it might work for you, might not work for you. Just need to find out if this practice helps. So using binaural beats is an example of finding a way to work with focus in repetitive tasks. The other way is very close to what we do here, is mindful task engagement. So using mindfulness and the practices of acceptance and bringing our full, joyful, loving awareness to the task at hand, noticing the details and sensations associated with the work rather than zoning out. So this is kind of counterintuitive for a lot of us. When we think about repetitive tasks or boring tasks, often the question is, how do we get distracted from it so that we are able to do it faster? But in this mindful task engagement, we are pretty much completely immersed in this experience. So this is why it is important to understand what mindful task engagement is. By focusing on the task itself, you can transform the experience from it being a mindless activity to one where you can cultivate mindfulness as well as bring mindful attention to the task. Now this reduces resistance and increases your connection with the work you do, even if it's monotonous. So how do we do it? Using a single task focus. Commit to doing one task at a time. It is very important that we clearly identify what tasks are suitable for us in this moment and just stick to one. So if you're entering data, for example, focus solely on the act of typing, or the sounds of the key, or the fingers touching the keyboard, or the mouse, and the appearance of the data on the screen. And if it's a task which is time sensitive, that is, you have to do it at a certain pace, just be mindful of the general awareness around these tasks with sensory check-ins. So regularly check in with your senses. Notice how your hands feel over the keyboard, the colors on the screen, the sounds around you. This keeps your mind engaged with the present moment rather than drifting into boredom, which is often a side effect of distracting tasks. So while sorting through your emails, instead of rushing through, take a moment to focus on each one individually. Notice the content, the sender, and the actions you may need to take, treating each as a unique task. And this is one way to start to bring in mindful, joyful, loving awareness to the work you do. Not just the work which you love to do, but the work you have to do and might be distracting for you right now, or might bring a lot of sense of boredom. So next, the fourth technique I wanted to mention is, all of this is because we start to create narratives around what is boring. Maybe in the ancient days of human evolution, repetitive tasks is what kept us going. Actually, people used to just do one thing at a time for their entire lives. And in this modern lifestyle, we have options. Hence, we feel like there is so much novelty around that we are missing out on things. So these tasks it's not just the task which is boring, it is the self-talk associated with these tasks which are causing the suffering. So in this technique, we have to start positively reframe and cultivate positive talk in the tasks we do. So positive self-talk and reframing involve consciously changing your internal dialogue about the task from something negative to positive. So viewing it as a purposeful part of your work rather than a chore. So positive reframing helps shift your perception of the task and makes it bearable and actually even more meaningful. So it can increase your intrinsic motivation, which is what we rely on in all sorts of other areas of our life, which is critical for maintaining focus on tasks that might otherwise feel pointless. So how do we reframe the task at hand? So instead of thinking, this is boring, try, this tasks help me develop precision and attention to detail. Or completing this task supports the larger project and my team's success. You can also start to use the power of positive affirmations. So use affirmations like, I am capable of maintaining focus, or every small task completed is a step forward to my goal. And repeating these can kind of mood and focus. Over time, it becomes part of your living. So, in an example, when you have a long data validation process, remind yourself ensuring the data is accurate will make a big impact on the project's success. And this perspective shift can help maintain your motivation and engagement. And lastly, we will look at the most discussed time management strategies in the world. It is called the Pomodoro technique, but we will discuss it with a slight twist. It is perspective is the Pomodoro technique is an effective time management strategy that breaks work into focused intervals, usually 25 minutes long, followed by short breaks. However, in this unique twist to this method, we incorporate elements of something called flow state theory from positive psychology, aiming not just for productivity, but for deep engagement and of even monotonous tasks. So the flow Pomodoro technique combines the structure of the Pomodoro technique with the principles of achieving a flow state, a highly focused mental state where you lose track of time. You might have gotten this in things which you love to do. When you're deeply immersed in an activity, playing sport, being with loved one, by being there fully, you lose track. And by integrating specific actions during breaks and the working period, this approach aims to enhance not only productivity but also the intrinsic enjoyment in the tasks. So, flow states are associated with higher levels of satisfaction, creativity, and performance. So when people are in flow, they are fully absorbed in what they are doing. often losing their sense of time, as we discussed. And also we lose self-consciousness. So we are not even conscious in some states. This state is particularly valuable when dealing with monotonous tasks because it transforms the task from a dull chore into more engaging experience. So how do we do this? How do we prepare for this? So I invite you to do this and follow this if possible. So preparation for flow. So set an intrinsic goal. So for example, if you're working on something, just your goal might be enjoy the process of creating the order, for example, if that is the task you are up to. Or see how efficiently and accurately I can complete this set. And reframing adds personal meaning to the task. And then minimize distractions. So turn off all notifications, close all the windows which are open, get your phone outside or in a place where you will not be disturbed. And if possible, put it in a disturb sign on your desk, which signals your colleagues to not disturb. And start with what is known as the flow trigger warm-up. So this is a micro meditation. So begin each Pomodoro session with a short meditation or breathing exercise. So this could be simple as just taking 3 breaths. And close these deep breaths and visualize yourself fully immersed in the task. And visualize yourself performing the task smoothly and efficiently, entering a state of flow where the work feels almost effortless. Now, for the 25 minutes of the Pomodoro, it's called the work interval, focus on process, not time. Instead of constantly checking the clock for how many minutes left, just immerse yourself. Even if the first few minutes you are not able to, that is okay. Just once you get the hang of it, each time you do this, you will find yourself more immersed in the task. So focus on the process, not time. So instead of constantly checking the clock, just check in with the intention of achieving flow. So let go of the time constraint, and focus brings your attention on the action of the work. So if it is a draft proposal you're typing up, or if it is a copy work, if it is writing work, if it is recording like what I'm doing, it is all important tasks, and it should take around 25 minutes. And during these tasks, we are engaging it with mindfully. So we are bringing the sense of all the attributes of mindfulness, such as the rhythm of typing. We are noticing the visual patterns on the screen appearing. And we are not focused on it, we are just aware of it. And the systematic progression of work, the work create itself. And this is where we start to deepen our immersion. And this 25 minutes, which we call the Pomodoro work interval, is where you do the work. And then the most important section of this technique is the enhanced break, which is like an active recovery. Instead of just passive breaks where you just chat for 5 minutes, engage in activities that promote physical movement and management. So, ideal time for you to do some stretches, quick walk, brisk walk, or a few minutes of light physical exercise, some yoga, jumping jacks, whatever that helps you reset your mind and body. And also introducing something called flow boosting activities. So use this time in the break that can trigger mini flow states, such as doodling. Yes, doodling can actually help you achieve flow boosting states. So this is just basically writing down what the thoughts are. Listening to your favorite song and dancing to it is also very interesting to show that this can help us recover from the work we do. So just dancing is not just a fun activity. Help you do other activities with fun. Playing some stimulating games can also help, but obviously if it is gamified, then you might get addicted. So just being careful, maybe just understand that this game should be something less than 5 minutes, because if you are trying to solve a Sudoku and you're not able to solve it, then you will probably take that Sudoku into your work in the next 25 minutes of your work interval of the Pomodoro technique. And once you've done a couple of work related techniques, a couple of these Pomodoro techniques for 25 minutes, you can take a longer break. So use that as deep rest and creative stimulation. So use this for maybe a yoga nidra practice, or maybe just finding something joyful, maybe drawing, artwork, something which is creative, and then reflect and adjust. So take a moment to reflect on the last 4 intervals. Did you achieve flow? Check back on it. And what could help you get there in the next cycle? So this is a constant reflection and adjusting. So adjust your approach as needed, and whether it's modifying your workspace, setting new intrinsic goals, tweaking the task itself can help you deal with monotonous tasks. And this flow Pomodoro technique can be used for other enhanced focus and creative engagements as well. So this is not just for monotonous tasks, but it is something which can be really helpful for things like a day-to-day activity which you don't feel like doing as well. So that is it from terms of the techniques we discussed. We discussed the flow Pomodoro technique, we discussed gamification, we discussed positive self-talk and reframing, we discussed mindful task engagement, we discussed sensory stimulation with binaural beats, and all of this are many techniques which you can use in your day-to-day life as well as in your work life. As a leader, you can implement this in your teams. You can actively try to encourage team members to follow these things, report back and learn, and can be used as a team bonding exercise as well to find out whether this can be something very useful for you. So that is my take on how do you deal with monotonous tasks at work, and how as leaders you can change your narrative with boring, so-called boring. No longer, after this, it will no longer be boring. It'll be something you may actually look forward to. So hopefully that kind of helps. So let's just end this session with a short guided focus meditation to just reinforce the techniques. So I invite you to settle in, maybe taking a few deep breaths, closing your eyes if that feels comfortable. Let your breath find its natural rhythm. Just bringing your anchor in the present. Bring your attention to your breath. Notice each inhale and exhale. Visualize the task. Picture the task you need to focus on. See yourself engaging with fully, working efficiently and calmly. Simply repeat these silent affirmations. I am focused. I am present. I am capable of completing this task with ease. Embracing the moment. Allow yourself to fully get engaged in the task, noticing the details without judgment. And if your mind wanders, gently bring it back to the task at hand. And just noticing your breath and coming back to stillness and coming back to whatever it is that you are doing right now. So, by implementing these strategies we discussed, time management, gamification, sensory simulation, mindful engagement, and positive reframing, you can maintain focus and productivity even during the most monotonous tasks. So remember, it's not just about completing the work, but about how you approach it. That makes all the difference. So let me know if you like this, and let me know if you enjoyed this, and I'm looking forward to engaging with you in this mindful work series. So thank you for being here, and I hope you enjoyed the session. Appreciate it. Let me know all the comments, anything you would like to discuss, anything you would like to understand further. Please put a comment in. Please share your thoughts. Please, if this video was useful for you, I think, please come back. Please share your thoughts and give us a follow if you like this. And yeah, and looking forward to engaging with you with more of these. Thank you. Thank you. My name is Nikhil, and you are me here all the time.